super, super, super pumped to be here. This is the first growth hack webinar where I don't get to present and somebody like awesome that is an expert in the specific domain gets to present. So I'm super, super stoked. Hopefully all of you guys are stoked. I see a lot of people are calling from all over the place. Before we get started and we introduce Ricelli and the whole webinar, I kind of want to start off the webinar again, highly interactive. I want you guys to use that chat and let me know what the biggest problem you guys face when trying to get the yes from a referral source to actually send you work, whether those are plumbers, insurance agents, property managers, TPAs. Put those in the chat below and let's see. And I bet you that all of us are going to be able to vibe and relate to a lot of everybody else's problems. So put them in the chat below. Again, super highly interactive webinar. So what is your biggest problem? And Ray says he needs a much better looking person. There's an existing partnership. The plumbers are hard to get a yes from. Okay. I need to wait for my adjuster, says Ken. Ken, where are you calling in from, by the way? I don't know if I saw where you were calling in from. H-Town. Where's H-Town? Houston. Nice. All right, what other issues do we have when trying to get the yes, guys? Hanging dollars with insurance companies. Or haggling dollars, sorry. I said there's a much better looking person presenting today. Oh, thanks, I'm flattered. No, that's Ricelli. Plumbers, I already work with someone else, okay? Yep. Previous companies messing up, so they get nervous to refer. All of these, I can totally relate to all of these. People being cheap, not wanting to pay a fair price. Yeah, Josh. It's getting it harder and harder to get paid. Big referral fees required, or they're anti-referral fee. Yeah, Brennan, I feel you. In the Chicagoland market, we had like one specific player that just drove the referral fee up through the roof. It ended up being like 14, 15%. And it was absolutely ridiculous. Some markets are like that. Biggest struggle is insurance carriers telling our clients that they will have to pay outside for their coverage. Hard to get a meeting with them, says Deborah. Cool. Well, guys, I think a lot of these problems that we have, we think that they're how problems, but a lot of times if we find the right who, or the person that's the expert, that person can come in, wave the magic wand, and poof, our problems could disappear. And I'm super, super excited because ever since the moment that I met Ricelli and I heard her talk about sales, I was like, I'm vibing. Like, I was like, she is the one. And I didn't know too much about Ricelli at the time. And then I come to find out that she's the CRO of a bunch of restoration companies all together doing over $100 million a year. She's a professional author. She's actually written a book. She previously has experience at Paul Davis Restoration Corporate, and now she runs Sales Boosters, which is a sales training company for restoration contractors. So I'm super excited to actually have her on the webinar and have her share with all of you guys what she calls getting to the yes. Welcome, Ricelli.
Hello, everybody. I'm so pumped and so excited to be here. It's amazing. I don't know how you guys feel, but I feel like in our industry, unless we come to a webinar like this, we don't feel like this belonging and this people get what I'm talking about. So thank you so much. This is so exciting. Happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm pumped, Ricelli. So what do you think of some of these problems here that people are coming up? Are there any one of them hit you from like left field, or have you
all
like
of them,
most
all
of them?
all of them. And you're right, Alex, it is a who problem. And so because it's a who problem, I want to start with a sentence that my husband said to me while he was in psychology school. He said, you can never say the right thing to the wrong person, but if you're not careful, you might end up saying the wrong thing to the right person, right? So it's all about the audience, right? And I think that that is fascinating because that's what we are going to address today. And we're going to see that the problems just have a different subject, but the root of the problem is how are we communicating with people? And that's what we're going to focus on today without me even knowing that those are the problems people are experiencing. That was, I'm ready to plan for today. So I'm very excited to get started.
I'm pumped. I'm pumped. What can we do to make you feel like we're excited? Because obviously we have this whole chat thing. I'm
The
obviously like
dancing, of
stoked.
course. I want to see
Yeah.
everybody dancing and putting their picture dancing here. Now, I would say that you guys interacting, Alex will be the moderator, right? Reading the chat so that I can go about this. There's no need for us to wait until the end. Questions happen. Let's address them. Let's make this as exciting and lively as it is when I'm in person doing my sales training for 2 days with people in their offices. So let's have the same vibe here. Questions, we address them, we go about it. You like something, say I like it. You have more questions, you say I don't get it, and we can go from there.
Yeah, 100%. And
All
just
right.
to kind of add on, if something resembles with you, like the quote Ricelli just started with, post it down below, right? So that way we can see kind of what resembles. Because I like to say that it's not what's taught, it's what's caught, right? So Ricelli can be a fantastic trainer and she could teach as much as she can, but if we don't catch what she's laying down, there's no point. So anything that you catch, put it down in that chat. Anytime you have a question, put it down and I'll call on you guys. We'll have a Q&A at the end, and make sure you stay until the end because we have something even more special for all of you guys that we're going to announce at the very end. So you don't want to leave early because you're going to miss out.
All right, everybody. Should I share the screen right now?
Yes,
We'll go from
please.
there. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's grow. All right, everybody, getting to the yes. How to talk to everyone and gain agreements from anyone. That's what we're going to talk today, you know. And I love this picture, that handshake, the way most of us have started our business with that one handshake, with that one conversation. I remember back, gosh, it's 15 years ago, opening my first consulting business. I went into an office of a restoration company office, and I swear to you, that guy could read my thoughts. He looks at me, he gets over there, he says, "Kid, you have something in your mind, don't you?" And I'm like, "Maybe. What are you saying?" He was like, "You want to open a business. You need some clients. Tell me what you have in your mind." And I know that in that particular situation, there wasn't divine intervention, but it was with a handshake that I was able to start my first consulting business, because people trusted that I was going to deliver on the things that I said. And I wanted to start with that because, do people trust in what we say? Do we have the handshake that for our prospects have your weight, if you will, have more zeros attached to it than any signed contract? How are people perceiving who we are in the marketplace and our ability to deliver and solve their problems, right? A lot of you guys here talk about sales pitches. You know, who here has not heard of, let's train on the sales pitch. What should my pitch be, right? And I'll tell you guys this, there's no pitch unless or until we understand what the situation is. And that's why Alex has started with the questions, right? How can I connect the dots for you guys if I don't know what your concerns are? I think that is very important. And we should, you know, if that is the only thing that's caught moving forward, I think that will make a huge impact in y'all's business. All right, so getting to the yes, the purpose of today, everything that I do here is very intentional. And my goal is that you guys will start using some of these concepts in your own life, but every conversation should have a purpose. And your prospect should know what results they're going to be left with. So the purpose of today is to introduce a system for identifying communication styles and natural motivators, and frame every conversation as to leave it with a clear agreement. That is the purpose for today. And the results is that the participants here today will be taught a personality assessment tool to assist on their communication style with their prospect. Very important. And you will also be taught a 5-step system to increase your ability to leave every conversation with a clear, intangible agreement. And then, because of that, you're going to be able to plug this into the challenges that you're having in your community so that you can see the results that you want to see, right, from your marketplace. And I think that is very important. All right, everybody with me? All right. Okay. Awesome. Have you ever, you might want to put this in the chat box, or just, you know, take a mental note, but have you ever felt lack of motivation or lost momentum? Have you ever felt frustrated while you're talking to someone? To the point that you wondered if you're even speaking the same language as your prospect? I know that this one's a big one with me. I come from Brazil, and I swear to you, there have been some conversations that I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm speaking English. I'm pretty sure this person is supposed to understand English, but the conversation was going nowhere. Have you guys experienced that, or just me as an immigrant? But have you ever had challenges selling an idea or getting somebody to agree with you? If you have answered yes, I need to see the chat box because this is fascinating. Yes, 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 absolutely awesome. This might be because of the dog in you and the dog in them. And before you guys think that you're at the wrong webinar, my assessment of personality is based on 4 dog breeds, very easy to understand, very easy to apply. And that is why I strongly believe that some of those challenges happen, because we're speaking one language that appeals to our core, but not to the core of our prospect, right? Alex, have you said yes to any of these questions? Have you gone through some of these challenges?
100%. I mean, now selling software to restorers and I get super technical and it's like, hey, that didn't matter. Like when we were selling software before, we're like, oh, look at this and look at this thing and look at this high tech feature. And it's like we weren't focusing on the restorers' problems. Or in restoration, we always love talking about the IICRC S500 standard and how we dry things with X amount of equipment and injected dries and all that. And then like the insurance agent sitting there like, okay, cool. And, hey, repeat it back to me. They can't.
Exactly. Exactly. It's what you said earlier. It's not what is taught, but it's what's caught, right? How people are
100%.
receiving our message. That's more important. Absolutely, you guys. So we don't want people to be frustrated, but for some of you guys that didn't catch when Alex was introducing me, and for some of you that needed to hear the facts before you even pay attention to what we're going to be sharing with you today, I've been in sales for 27 years, B2B and B2C. I started with B2C in Brazil, had my first business, my first official business, training a huge sales organization, doing trainings for over 5,000 people when I was 17 years old. And for me, sales was always ingrained in me. I just didn't know that what I was doing was sales. But I've been a sales trainer for 25 years. I know the Botox doesn't let you guys see how old I am, but believe me, it has started many years ago. But I have won an award because of my personality assessment book, 17 years in the industry, coaching, training, and consulting. And like Alex mentioned, I act as the chief revenue officer for various restoration companies. And I'm pretty sure that after this training, probably a dozen more. And the reason why I'm able to do this myself with so many companies, it's because of systems. And you guys might want to write this down. You can never duplicate people. You can only duplicate systems and recipes, right? And a lot of times we think, well, I'm so great. How come I'm not being able to get this thing to move faster for me? It's because you don't have yet a recipe. And one of the things that I share with every restoration owner is that if you have a sales team of about 3 people, right? 3 people that are part of your lead generating strategy. Some people call them business development managers. Some people call them marketers. If you have 3 people on your team, you don't need somebody like me to run your sales organization and be in charge of growing your revenue for more than 3 to 5 hours per week. And that is it, right? Which leads to another question that a lot of times people ask, well, but at what point do I bring a sales manager? When that person actually has enough work to justify them growing that organization without having to put out fires and having water cooler conversations, right? So it's all in the system that I'm able to do what I do, that I have clients graduating from my program and owners being able to run the deal for their clients because systems can be duplicated. Love to train, travel a lot, training with restoration companies. It's what I love the most, to spend time with people, rubbing elbows, as they say, and getting to know people and hearing their challenges and helping them to personalize this to their challenges. All right. So making a positive impact. All right, you guys. So how do we make a positive impact? I strongly believe that if making a positive impact was a mathematical equation, it will look something like this: motivation plus information equals inspiration, right? And I want to hear from you guys. What does being inspired means to you? Put it in the chat box. What does it mean to you to feel inspired? Right?
So I guess this is where I come in. Yo, 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 everybody in the chat box below. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's
MC'd or
go.
moderated.
But Alex, for you, what does it mean for you to be inspired?
To take some information from somebody else who has shined their light and apply that to my life and it to create a life-changing event.
Yes, love
So,
that. I'm glad it's recorded, you guys. We can get that and put Alex Duda at the end of that quote, right? But for you
yep.
guys over there, what are we seeing in the chat box that people are saying what it means to them to feel inspired?
So we have Michelle saying feeling motivation to get tasks accomplished. And then
Hmm.
Ray says to believe that the information is applicable.
Absolutely love those. Thank you, guys. But you need to understand too that, if motivation plus information equals inspiration, what will be the opposite? What will be the opposite of inspiration? Maybe frustration, right? And frustration happens when motivation is not there, or maybe the information was not given in the way that a person could receive it well, right? Because different personality types, check this out, are motivated by different things and receive information differently. For my people here in this group that are straight to the point, don't waste my time people, right? We probably have some, they're going to start manifesting themselves on the chat box. We have some other people that they need a whole story, like almost like a zigzag of information, because they feel grounded in the way the information is given, right? Who are my people here that say, oh, close to $1 million, versus the people that say, no, 917,385 and 63 cents, right? So imagine that you are a straight shooter, straight to the point in how you talk, and you're talking to somebody that needs the detail for everything. Again, if you don't motivate them with communicating with them in a way that connects with the core of who they are and giving them information in the way that they can best receive it, you are going to be prevented from getting to the yes, because getting to the yes takes an understanding of who you're talking to and a plan to motivate and inform them. And that is it, right? I might have the best of intentions, but if I'm talking to a Japanese person, I need to speak Japanese, right? And you might, if we know that when it comes to countries and cultures and languages, but we forget that with people that speaks the same language in a sense, but not the same core language of that which moves them, and we don't present that message in a way that connects with them, like Alex was saying, we talk about the details and the IICRC and this and that, and the person was like, what? I what? I see restores messing up with the acronym for IICRC. Can you imagine just an agent, right? I think I was probably in the industry for a good number of years before I even heard the term IICRC. So imagine how it is for some other people. And I think that this is so important because years ago, I went to an event in St. Louis for one of my projects with my husband, and the speakers were supposed to be the fastest growing people on that project, and everybody was super pumped to be there. And I met with my friend Travis, and Travis and I had done an apprenticeship of that program together. And I said, Travis, what's up? How are things? And he was like, well, business slow. So I'm coming to this training because I want to make sure that, the speakers are the best and I'm going to learn so much. And I remember at the end of the training asking him, Travis, what did you think of the training? And he says, I can't even believe I showered for this. This was a waste of my shower in the morning. And I said, why? He said, they were trying to get me pumped up, but they gave me nothing tangible that I could then take home and improve my business with. So today, my goal, you guys, is to earn your shower in the morning. And every now and then I get a message of somebody saying the training was so good that I decided to shower at night too. So let's see if I can earn the first shower and encourage you guys for a second one. All right. So how do we motivate people? From the Latin, it means to move, right? So to motivate is to move into action, to get things going. But some people are moved on pleasure, others are moved on pain, or trying to prevent a pain from happen, or a painful event making them wanting to go a certain direction, right? Some people are moved by taking risks, and some people, they want to avoid risk at all costs. So if we are not connecting that for our audience, we lose them. And some of you guys might be thinking, okay, how does this solve my problems with my plumbers? Come on, you guys. If you don't understand who you're talking to, how can you solve a technical problem for somebody who is as human as you are? And I know sometimes we don't believe that with some of, the prospects we have out there, but everybody comes 5 o'clock, are wrapping up at work, and they want to take care of their family. Nobody needs a best friend. They need somebody who is going to make their life easier through a solution. But we cannot provide solutions or inform people unless we understand who we are talking to, right? Value versus features, detail versus straight to the point. And your prospect has their own set of lenses through which they see the world. I wear contact lenses here. There are probably some people here in the chat box that wear contact lenses too. And if we were to exchange our lenses, not only that will be disgusting, but it will not solve your problem, your vision, because my prescriptions are not the same as yours. So think about this. If you're talking to people and it seems like the conversation is going nowhere, my question is, have you stopped to consider if the lenses are the same, or if you're speaking the language that that person can connect with? What do we have in the chat box?
So
Comments,
Noah
thoughts.
said that the client doesn't need another best friend. They need someone to make their life easier. That's good. I asked people, what pleases plumbers? What alleviates their pain? And then we have some cut to the chase and get on with the information. Cut to the chase with most things.
Okay.
What else, guys? Anybody else? What was caught out of that? Super powerful. I mean, another thing that resonated with me was the contact lens analogy. 100%.
Let me try. Let's go, you guys. Let's do it. Let's
Yeah.
see if it's gonna work, right?
Do you
Anybody
wear
else?
the color changing contacts while people are commenting here? Because we're not going to move on till we
No,
go to
I don't. I don't. I just wear the ones that makes me see because my vision is really, really bad.
Yeah.
But all right, you guys. Okay, so now that we got to this point, let's talk about, I talk like people are like dogs. Now I'm going to talk that people are like cars. So very confusing, but stay with me. Like cars. Anybody here has run out of fuel before? Driving, ran out of fuel with your car, right?
Of course not. Never. What are you
Nobody,
talking
just
about?
me, just the Brazilian, of course, right? Without fuel, your car can't move. Given the wrong fuel, it will break down. And with no directions, it will get lost. Think about this as a concept for talking to people. And of course, this came from my book, What's Your Fuel? But what I do know about cars is this. When I ran out of fuel and I thought that I had 5 more miles and I could get to my school to take my test in San Diego, the first reaction that I had was to just scream at the car, like it was the car's fault, my negligence. Then I get out of the car and I kick the car. And I'm so frustrated that at times I wondered if my car could talk. My car will look at me and say, "You freaking idiot. How dare you? You neglect me. And now you think that I'm going to perform just because you have a need." Isn't that how most conversations happen out there with our prospect? Now, not every prospect will, and I have unfortunately heard from one or two, more than I like to admit, but not everybody will look at you and say, "You freaking idiot. You care nothing about what's going on in my life, in my world. And you come here and how dare you push your message and expect me to perform at the rate that you think I should perform when you know nothing of what I'm dealing with," right? Which goes another thing that I think it's very important for you guys to remember. When I teach sales strategies, I teach everybody the only purpose for a first visit is so that you can come back again. Some people took years to propose to their spouses, and they think that after a 5-minute conversation with somebody at their office that wasn't even scheduled, intended, or welcomed, they're going to leave with that person trusting them with their whole book of business. I'm sorry to say, but how dare you, right? And I say that to myself because that was me years ago. How dare me think that I was so great that people were going to change what they are doing to work with me, right? Consider that. Let that sink in a little bit. So all that we need to do is make the adjustments. We give them their fuel, make sure it's the right one, and we have instructions and directions for having the conversation in a way that will empower people, right? Comment so far in the chat box, or just people loving or hating this so far?
Well, you must know Ray's wife. There's a comment there of "you must know my wife." Then I asked if anybody put gas in a diesel before. A bunch of people ran out of fuel.
Right?
And then I
Okay.
wrote WIFT, what's in it for them. It's a nice
Yes,
acronym to
exactly.
put in.
Exactly. Absolutely, you guys. Absolutely. Love that. Okay. So different people need different fuel. And we just have me. People can unmute themselves, right, Alex, for this? Could I
They
have
can
a
ask to
volunteer to
unmute.
read this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
Raise your
like
hand
somebody
if you
to
want to
read
read
this.
something. Yeah,
Yeah.
raise your hand
Raise your
here.
hand if you want to read something, and I would love a volunteer to read this.
Oop, a hand just went down.
Come
Come
on, you
don't be
guys.
shy. Can I
Otherwise,
call
it's
on
just going to be
someone?
me and Alex talking. Yeah, you can. Absolutely.
All
You
right.
know these guys.
Oh, we have two hands.
All
We have
right.
Josh Doyle and Ray Wright. Let's go. Ray, I'm making you talk. You're on the spot. Let's
Okay,
do
Ray,
it.
can you read this
Can you hear
script here
me?
for us? Yes, we can.
Yep.
Welcome, Ray, to our radio show. No, Ray, can you read the definition of emotional fuel here for us?
Yes, the emotional substance which is essential to produce an individual's drive, i.e. energy, based on their primary personality in order to increase performance and satisfaction. Emotional fuel.
Awesome. Thank you, Ray. Let me ask you this, Ray. What word or what words in this definition of emotional fuel caught your attention?
Well, it's an odd word, emotional fuel. I mean, you hear there's a lot of words that go before and after fuel. I mean, working out, there's vehicles, lots of things, but you don't hardly ever hear emotional fuel.
Okay, but any word on the description of this concept that caught your attention?
Brennan
or anybody
says
want to put it?
essential, says drive.
Essential. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, guys. So one of the least
You're connecting an individual's drive to their personality, to the primary personality.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Make them effective.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Ray. So one of the words that most people don't catch, and we had, I've been teaching this for years, and only 3 people have caught this word, and what happened just right now was essential, right? So if we understand that it's an emotional substance which is essential to produce the individual's drive, we are gonna focus on the fact that without it, people won't move. And that's what we are going to be focusing on, talking about it a little bit today, especially because this part of my training takes 4 hours just on this. But we're going to be focusing on this in the next few minutes for you guys to understand what moves you, what moves others, and how to identify people very easily so that within 60 seconds or not, you're going to know what not to say to people, right? And then we're going to go into some conversations here of, what we have seen out there in the marketplace. We will open the lines for some questions that people might have for that as well. But it's important that we understand that if something is essential, we do everything in our power to acquire. I'm going to say that again. If we understand that something is essential, we're going to do everything in our power to acquire that which is essential. If I know that what is essential for my vehicle is premium gas, I'm going to drive around until I find a place that has what my car needs. I'm not going to put diesel just because it's the first thing available, right? How many things are essential for us as business owners that we are going above and beyond to produce? Is it essential for you to produce your leads? Absolutely. Do you have the plan for producing your leads? Is it essential for you to be managing your CRM in a way that you capture, every participant on the job and every relationship so that you can then know what conversations to have with the insurance agent, with the plumber? That which is essential, you are going to go above and beyond. You're going to make an effort to acquire. And if I know when I'm talking to a person that their emotional fuel is such, it is my job to give it to them first and foremost, because I know that for them to increase performance and satisfaction in the conversation with me, they will need to have that. And without it, they're going to be stuck. Right? And that's how it works. Okay. All right. Let's see. Well, I like that. That's awesome. Okay. I'm just checking the chat box every now and then. So I acknowledge you guys. All right. So really quick, 4 hours of training going on in the next 20 minutes. I'm going to teach you guys a very simple, almost silly, because it's so simple, way to assess personalities. and a way for you to know what people are not within 60 seconds. No, sending people a test that will take them 2 hours to fill out so that you can prepare for a meeting that they don't even expect. None of that, right? We know that when we open somebody's office door, we have about 30 to 60 seconds to know what our first line is going to be. And I'm going to teach you guys how to do that in a very easy way with my 4 personality types of assessment that is based on 4 dogs. And we are going to learn what is common traits for each personality type. You guys are going to learn what their communication styles are and their emotional fuel, which, because Ray has read that, we already have established that is the substance which is essential. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's start with this one. We'll probably have a lot of interaction here with Alex, because unless you guys raise your hand that you want to participate too. But Alex, let me ask you this. If you're right there in your office right now, we're in the middle of this webinar, and you look at your door and all of a sudden you see this dog, this real thing, not in a picture format, but like the real thing over there. What are some of the things that you're feeling right away?
Scared. I got to go run the other way.
Okay. All right.
But he might be harmless, because my buddy has a Doberman who's like a teddy bear, but I'm scared.
Right. I'm still cautious about it. Right.
Yeah.
First thing is I'm scared. Let me ask you guys this. How many homeowners did you just meet when they opened the door, or vendors that came into your office, or people that you visited with that produced in you that same feeling of uneasiness, of like, crap, what did I do? And sometimes you're like, I just opened the door and I'm already feeling like, what did I do? Right? Those are the Dobermans of the world. And if they are starting to come to your mind, the people that have the same energy, the same intensity in their look, here's what we should know about the Doberman. They are just like in dog format and human format. And I love that Alex said, some are harmless, some, right? But what we sense right away is that energy of, what are you doing here? Why are you invading my space, right? Because they are alert, energetic, fearless, strong. Those are the risk takers of the world. They are aggressive, they are intimidating, they are straight to the point, and they're fast paced. I want you guys to write it down, because I know so many of you are taking notes right now. Who are the people that you know that fit this description with the energy? Because guess what? Energy is the only language that doesn't lie. Okay. How many people do you know that you're like, oh crap, such and so just showed up? Those are the Dobermans. The people that are the highway, my way or the highway. Those are the Dobermans, right? And it's important that you know that. What does he want? Like, get to the point. Exactly. Right. If you don't know how to identify them, you're going to miss an opportunity to speak the language that they receive, to move them in the direction that you want them to go. Guess why? Because they are visionaries. And as visionaries, Dobermans are always focusing on the future. What's next? What's next? What's next? Like my co-author, Dr. Priscilla Leo says, she says, the Dobermans run the endless race, because they run as fast as the eye can see, but as they get close to the mark, they're already seeing ahead. So their minds are going 1,000,000 miles per hour. What's in it for them? So how do we talk to them? That's very important. Their fuel: power, prestige, and profit. Give them control, put them up on a pedestal, show them what's in it for them. That's how you fuel a Doberman. Okay. And how do you communicate with them? Get to the point, show how they can profit from the situation. Again, what's in it for them. Talk about results and what they can gain. Make it quick, get to the point, show you are the expert, present yourself in an impressive manner. Okay, don't go in with your tails between your legs. No, you're going to be easy prey. Create a sense of urgency and a desire in them to buy. Dobermans don't want to be sold because they need to be in control. Okay, so unless you create in them a sense of you can't live without it, you're done. So here's one of the things that I always teach people that can help them to always identify who they are dealing with, is to ask people, what are you looking for in exchange for, some people said, getting work from plumbers. Okay. Quick answer, quick question. What are you looking for in exchange for the calls on water and mold damage that you see out there? Don't go in telling them your referral fee. Go in finding out what they're looking for, and then you match your message to their expectations. Okay. Any comments on the Doberman before we go to the next one?
So we have show you are the expert. Don't come in with your tail tucked. Create a sense of urgency and desire in them to buy from Shabrice. Josh said that my family bred Dobermans growing up. They're great dogs.
Yeah.
And then Fabian said, what does he want?
Exactly.
This is
It's
great
all what's
participation.
in it for them. What's in it for them. And you guys are identifying, huh? You guys are already identifying everybody in your life that has this personality. So let's go to the next one, German Shepherds. Alex, what do we know about German Shepherds? They're out there in the world. What are they used for?
They could really F your stuff up if you're not well behaved, but otherwise they're pretty well behaved, right? They're not just going to randomly attack you on the street.
Exactly. Love that. See, you
People
guys,
are
how
saying
simple that
police
is.
dogs. Yep,
Police dogs.
dogs.
They function with a mission, right? I went to a training one time that I said to this guy, you know, country town in Texas. And I'm like, okay, so if a German Shepherd comes in here, what are we feeling? And this guy says, if a German Shepherd comes here, he's looking for drugs. I ain't got no drugs. I'm not his problem. I'm cool. I'm like, isn't that interesting, right? The Dobermans tend to pick a fight with everybody. The German Shepherds are like, here's what my mission is. This is what I'm going to focus on, because they are responsible. They are reliable, obedient, protective, steady energy. That is very important. You can feel the aggressiveness in a Doberman without the Doberman even opening their mouths. With the German Shepherd, they are steady. There's not an up and down of anything. They are very steady. They are analytical, they're logical, and they are facts instead of feelings. They are the description of liars can figure, but figures can lie, right? Who do you guys know in your lives that match that description? You can see them. They are very predictable, right? You can easily anticipate their behavior because they have, you know, that rhyme. They all their ducks in a row, cross all the T's, dot all the I's before they do anything. You guys know these people, right? Some of my favorite people, Shabrice said, right? You guys know these people. They are mission oriented, and a mission has a beginning, a middle, and an end. We talked about the Doberman running the endless race because their goal is always evolving. If you don't give a German Shepherd a sense of completion, you might lose them. And I'm going to share with you guys why, so that you can frame your conversations to your German Shepherds in a way that will fuel them. They're fueled by structure, stability, and systems. The communication style with German Shepherds is keep it simple and fact-based. Remember, they can trust the figures more than they can trust what you're saying. So if it's never close to $1 million is the specifics of the numbers, right? You give them that, they will trust you because you're going to be showing data to support everything that you're saying. Incremental agreements, giving them a sense, giving them time to process the information. Let me explain to you guys what that actually means. Imagine, if you will, the shopping channel. And in the shopping channel is usually like this. Buy the lipstick and within 30 seconds, you can also get the eye drop for 50% off. That does not work for German Shepherds. You sell the lipstick, you deliver on the lipstick. Sorry, you guys, the only example because it's what I have here on my desk, but you deliver on the lipstick. And when you follow up on how well the lipstick worked, you can talk to them about the eye drop. If they agree to something and you add it to the message, now they are seeing those as two things together, not two separate things. And you might lose the sale of the first item because you're pushing another one. Incremental agreements. I'll give you guys another example. One of my sales training, I was presenting this to a restoration owner. I knew right away he was a German Shepherd. And at the end, I asked him, you know, what would you like to do next? And he said, well, you probably want to see when I can get started. But, you know, I don't work like that. I said, of course, you probably need more time to look over the information. You probably want me to send everything to you and maybe come back in a week or two so that we can see what your thoughts are and create next steps. The guy's jaw pretty much dropped during that conversation. Later on, I do the sales training for his team. We get to the German Shepherd part and everybody's pointing at him. It's him, it's him, it's him. And he said, Ricelli was one of the first salespeople that I ever came across that did not rush me into making a decision. Now, why did I do that, you guys? Because I knew what his fuel was. He needed this structure, he needed this stability, he needed the systems, and he needed time to process the information. So it's important that when you're dealing with the German Shepherds that you avoid ultimatums, because you don't want to rush them into making a decision, because sometimes without enough information, the decision is going to be no, because it's safer to say no than to take the risk on a yes that they don't yet understand. You guys know people like that, don't you? Some of you might be exactly like this, right? Don't fluff, don't over exaggerate, be precise, and when possible, eliminate or decrease the risk associated with the decision, okay? It's very, very important. Thoughts, questions, comments on the German Shepherds, you guys? Anybody can think of an example?
There's a confession here.
Yeah.
Noah thinks he's a German Shepherd.
I'm
And
a quarter
of a
German.
German anyway.
That fits. That fits. And that's
Ricelli, what
great.
do you think? What am I? Am I a German Shepherd? Or am I a Doberman? Or am I something that hasn't been revealed yet?
Or are you a mix of those two? Because everybody's a mix of two.
Ooh.
Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? We're going to get to that. All right, you guys. Okay, next one. Labrador. What do we know about Labradors? If a Labrador comes into your office right now, what is your biggest fear? Anybody?
He's
Biggest
gonna
fear.
slobber all over me.
Slobber all over. We're not going to get any work done, but we're going to have a great time. Who do you know that is exactly like that? They come into your office, you're like, okay, nothing's going to get done, but we're going to have a great time. Those are the people, right? Those are the people who have the high energy. They love to love. I met a little girl on the plane the other day. She had a shirt that I'm like, this is #Labrador. Did I just meet, what did it say? Did I just meet my new best friend? And I'm like, that's such a Labrador shirt, right? I just met you and I love you. That's how those guys work. They are fun, they are spontaneous, they are engaging, charismatic. They are playful, they're loud and irreverent. They have short attention span, however. They're messy and forgetful, and they are inconsequential because they live in the moment, right? My oldest son is a Labrador, and his favorite thing to say is, why am I going to make a bed that I'm going to jump into to go to sleep in a couple of hours? What's the point, right? He lives in the moment. There are things that are more important to him than making a bed, especially a bed that was designed by his German Shepherd grandmother of how all the pillows should go. He could not care a bit for that, right? Your salesman, Steve, baby boomer that admits he's still 14 years old inside, right? Goofy, energetic. We love them. They have high energy. We love them unless we're German Shepherds and we're opposite from their energy. Then the Labrador drives us insane because they're dreamers. So how does a German Shepherd communicate with a Labrador when it's opposite from the language that they speak? Okay, I'm letting you guys into a little secret here. In a couple of minutes, you're going to see how easy it is to identify personalities, and you're going to see that when you start with what people are not, you most likely can find out who they are much faster. Okay, so the dreamers. How do we fuel the Labradors, the dreamers? Recreation, recognition, and reward. Make it fun. Clap for them. Give them treats. That's it. That's it, right? My son is a Labrador. We only got him to do piano because his grandma found the music sheet that he wanted to learn from Jurassic World. She clapped for him after he got one note right. One note, you guys. She clapped for him. And at the end, there was a basket of treats that he could choose any treats he wanted. There is a big estimator in the East Coast that one vendor was able to get her because he discovered what her favorite candy is, Tootsie Rolls. And she says, I just love that they bring me Tootsie Rolls. I'm like, that's it? She's like, yeah, that's it. I love Tootsie Rolls. They found out I love Tootsie Rolls. They surprised me with Tootsie Rolls. There we go, right? Some people are that simple. Not everybody, but some people are that simple. because they want to know you as a person before they engage with you in business. Because if working with you is boring, if working with you has a lot of details, if working with you is about you trying to, you know, push them to sit up straight and you're not focusing, they don't want to work with you. And I have seen some great people leave some good companies because they were Labradors and everybody wanted to put them in the German Shepherd box. And no matter how well they did things and how many hours they stayed, you know, after hours, or engaged the whole team to be excited about that, if they were late for a meeting, the world was falling apart, right? I worked with a great fire chaser who is a Labrador, and instead of 1 hour per week on a structured conversation, we talk every day, morning and afternoon, for about 10 to 15 minutes. And we get things done because that is that person's style of communication and what they need to get fueled and engaged so that they can continue to do what they do best, which is to get people to engage back with them. Thoughts, comments on Labradors? Michelle, what are your equivalent of Tootsie Roll? Somebody's mentioning here. I think I'm part lab.
I need to
feel
figure them
like
out.
I fully identify with that, what you just described. I feel like you are calling me out.
See, we'll just have a great time with Michelle. Isn't that great? Whenever we're
Yeah,
stressed
but-
out, we call Michelle in.
But she never came with instructions. So I don't know what her Tootsie Rolls are. Like, I need to figure out what the treats are. I don't know how to like applaud, you know?
Right. Just clap all the time. See,
We'll
good job,
figure it
Michelle.
out as
Good
we
job.
go. We'll figure it out as we go.
Michelle, A+ for participation in this webinar. You're doing awesome. I think
Thank
we
you
can
so much,
all
Michelle.
accidentally fuel people with our own fuel type. Boom. Yes.
Love that. Yes, because those
Yes.
are our lenses that we are literally removing from our eyes and shoving to people's eyes, you guys. Right? Isn't that crazy that we do that? And that's why it's important that we learn these things before we have the conversations that we want to have. Because here's the thing. Once you understand the essence of how people work, then you're going to be able to apply that to your employees, to your family, to every person you come across, to your homeowners. You're going to be able to teach that to your employees and get them to use that to communicate better with your homeowners, right? And with everybody they come across. All right, so now let's talk about the last but not least, we have the St. Bernard. Anybody here watch the movie Beethoven? Remember back in the 90s, you guys? Probably 90s, right? Yeah, the old people here did. Alex is like, what?
Oh, I like it. Classic. It's a classic.
It's a classic, right? What do we know about St. Bernards, you guys? What do we know about St. Bernards, the dog? What are they used for?
Aren't they emotional support dogs?
They are rescue dogs, absolutely, right? They rescue people, saving, exactly,
Wow.
John. They are saving dogs, okay? And because they're saving, what do we know about them? They're big, but they're calm, they're friendly, they are gentle. It's not uncommon to see a video of a child pushing a St. Bernard. The other day, I saw a video of a cat trying to attack the St. Bernard, and the St. Bernard's just there laying down like, who cares, right? Because they're friendly, they're gentle, they are non-threatening, they're service-oriented, they avoid confrontation at all costs. But because of that, they can be easily overwhelmed, and they can also be enablers, right? So, oh, we have a Lab Bernard here. Let's see. Okay. So what is interesting about some of these things, you guys, is that by understanding how people work and what is important to people, we can communicate in the message and the language that they receive. And here's what I say. It's not about the behavior. It's about the energy that people give out. And here's the most amazing thing that I love to teach this training in our industry versus other industries. We deal with people at moments of crisis. And it's much harder for people to fake an energy, especially when they are in crisis mode. Okay? Especially when they're in crisis mode. So what do we know about St. Bernards? We know that they are fueled by balance, by benefiting of others and the greater good. That's what fuels them, which is the opposite of what fuels the Doberman, power, precision, profit. So you guys get it? opposites. And that's why opposites do not mix in the system. We're going to talk about it. But with St. Bernards, easy opening, laid back, don't be pushy so that they are not overwhelmed. Show that you care about them. Show that that the benefits of the partnership is good for both of you. Be civil and respectful and walk them through the benefits to them and others of moving away from the comfort zone, because they are very slow to make decisions. Okay? Very slow to make decisions. They are also, core St. Bernards are also very rare. I've trained this to thousands and thousands of people, and I only know maybe a handful of people that are core St. Bernards, right? I know a lot of Dobermans that are trying to say that they're St. Bernards because they are good people, but their energy is not that. And let me tell you this, somebody had mentioned we give our fuel to others. Also telling others that we are what we are not will increase the chances that people will give us the wrong fuel, and we'll break it down. Okay. All right. So moving along. Now, this is if you guys just want to take a screenshot of this, I know you guys are going to get the information later on, but if there's one slide that I'm quite passionate about, is this one, because opposites do not attract. And because of that, it's easy to know how the mixes work, because the mixes either work clockwise or counterclockwise, but never across. So what is the best way to know that somebody is a German Shepherd? When we can tell right away that they are not a Labrador. Easy. How do we know that somebody's a Doberman? When we can tell right away they are not a St. Bernard. Easy, right? I mean, you guys just met me. I'm talking here for about an hour right now. What is the personality that you guys know right away I'm not? My energy, the energy that I do not possess. You don't even have to think much about it to know that I am not a anybody.
Bernard.
I'm not a St. Bernard, right? What else am I not? I'm not a, Noah said the same thing. I'm not a St. Bernard. What else can you guys tell right away that I'm not?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Not a lab.
Alex
Thank
says
you.
not a lab.
Not
What do you
a lab.
mean?
You're right.
You were dancing
You're
to
right.
Bad Bunny like 2
I
minutes
know,
ago.
but I'm Brazilian. I am a
Ah.
Doberman German Shepherd. Yeah. So if you guys just start with what I'm not, you know what I am right away. Shh. Not a St. Bernard, because I'm not calm. I'm not sweet. I don't talk like this. You know, I'm not a St. Bernard, right? So you know right away I'm a Doberman. And even though I'm Latina, I'm Brazilian, I'm not, my energy is not that's all over the place. So my behavior a lot of times come off as aggressive, blunt, orderly, and indifferent, because I'm a Doberman German Shepherd, right? Different than somebody who is a German Shepherd St. Bernard, who will be more slow pace, risk averse, reliable, and loyal. A St. Bernard Labrador, or what I like to call the Labernards, are disarming, friendly, carefree, and excited, while the mix of Labrador with Dobermans are more impulsive, charismatic, persuasive, and leader-like. And I say leader, anybody can be a leader, but they are the leaders that others want to follow. They are naturally engaging, and people naturally want to follow them. Okay, so this is a quick guide that you guys can use right away. You can take a screenshot of that, and you can use to identify people in your team. Let me start with what somebody is not, and then I'm going to know instinctively what they can be. Thoughts, comments, you guys, because we just have 15 more minutes for the next part. Then we are going to get into Q&A. Questions on this slide here, which is very helpful.
And make sure everybody stays till the end, because we have something exciting that's going to follow this up. I know it's taking a little bit longer, but this is pure gold. Shabri says that slide is very helpful. The whole dog thing took me off guard, but it's totally great. Love it. I love great analogies or good metaphors, or, you know. Josh says,
I'm a Labernard, love it. Can somebody be a German Shepherd? And well, we don't have Golden Retrievers here. We have Labradors. So I'll tell you guys this. Opposites do not go together. Okay. We have a lot of people that are Labradors. I actually met a very strong Labrador who was an estimator, and he said that he had to fake a German Shepherd so that people will take him seriously. And I said, how is that working for you? He said, at the end of a work day, I feel exhausted because I can't be myself. And I'm like, wow. Right? So energy, the only language that doesn't lie, you guys. So we always start with the energy. What we also see a lot of times is that somebody is not a Labrador with a German Shepherd. They're a Labrador Doberman, but in a work environment, they learn German Shepherd to survive. And what do I mean by learn German Shepherd to survive? That structure, right? That sense of, you know, I don't like being on time, but I show up on time kind of thing, right? So there's a lot of that going on out there. So one of the easiest way to know who you are is look at who you were as a child. That's a great indicator. Look at the 5-year-old you on the playground. What moved you? What fueled you? What energy did people see, right? That's a great indicator. What does the first people think when they meet you? That's another one. I have a friend who believes she's a Labrador. She believed for a long time, and she's a Doberman. I asked her, I'm like, when people first meet you, what are some of the first things that they say? She was like, that I'm scary and arrogant. I'm like, boom, you got it. But I love people too. And I'm like, that's great. You're a Doberman that loves people. You're a refined Doberman, but you're not a Saint Bernard, and you're definitely not a Labrador Saint Bernard. So I'm chew and I like the facts, but I also take the risk. Very interesting. What energy? If I were to ask your team right now, Noah, give them those 4 dogs and ask them which one best describes Noah, what would they say? What energy are people seeing on you? Something crazy to think about, huh? Awesome. All right. Okay, you guys, this is the quick guide, but remember, we're putting like 4 hours in a couple of minutes here. There's more to the story, more that can help you guys to learn more how this works. But this is an intro to something that you can use right away to talk to people to solve the problems that you're experiencing in all levels of your business. Okay, so let's get to this next thing. All right, Alex, would you mind doing the honors and reading this?
Absolutely. Thank you. So every interaction you have with someone where you begin with a clear purpose and where you want results is a sales interaction.
What are your thoughts, Alex, on this one?
100%. I think in life in general, if you don't have a clear purpose and you don't know the results, you won't have what I would call the sales interaction of life. And so many
Guys,
people, they go and they're dropping off donuts at insurance agents' offices and they're walking out the door and it's like, actually, I have a story to tell about something like that. If somebody's selling me, do you got a minute?
yeah, of course.
Sitting on the phone, pacing back and forth, and this laundry supplier, right, textiles cleaning company, came through my door, and I was sitting on the phone, pacing back and forth, and he brought a pen, dropped it off, and I was like, hey, give me a minute. I really wanted to talk to this guy. He's like, no, you're busy, whatever, I get it, and walks out the door. And then I'm like, and I ended up going with somebody else because I really needed a textiles provider at that point. Had he not just stopped and like dropped me off a pen, he would have waited till I got off the phone and we would have had that conversation. He would have gotten a ton of work. So.
And he probably didn't even follow up with you, huh?
Nope.
Which happens a lot. I think that that's going to be our next webinar to talk about the lead conversion because people don't understand how the process of the sales funnel works. But the reality is this, you guys. You have sales. Sales is part of your life every day and you're not even thinking about it. If you, every time that you're trying to convince your kids to clean up their room or do their homework, that's sales. You got your spouse to want to go out with you and marry you, that's sales. That's all sales. That's all sales. Thank you, Noah. I'm going to change the font on this. Thank you for the feedback. It's all sales, right? Sometimes we say good morning to people, and when they don't say good morning back to us, we get annoyed because the sales didn't go well. The sale interaction didn't go well, right? So it's important that we understand, if we understand that every interaction that we have with someone where we have a clear purpose, so number one, you need to have a clear purpose, and where you want to drive some type of results is sales, then you're going to see that everything is sales. Therefore, you're going to understand that everybody in your team should be trained in sales because everybody in your team is part of the sales process. I'll ask you guys this, and I'll suggest that you ask this to your team. For your team to raise their hand if they, if they're the type of people that spend at least 25% of their day getting somebody to agree with them. 50%, 75%. And then we see that the people that are raising hands are not the ones that have business development on their card, but they are all in sales. So imagine this, everybody is in sales, but people are not being trained in sales. Everybody is in sales. They have learned some of the technical things of the job to extract the water, but they haven't learned how to interact with the homeowner. And when things don't go well, because of lack of sales training, they are not getting clients to agree with them and move in the direction that they want to go. Because everybody's in sales, but not everybody's trained in sales. And here's another fact. The buyers are being more trained than the salespeople. And buyers right now go in knowing what they want, while the salespeople go in pushing a message to a problem they don't yet understand. Everybody is in sales. So let's get a quick sales training. We're going to do 4 hours and 12 minutes. You guys ready? Let's go. Okay. Reaching new heights through the peak model. This is a sales and communication program, and we're going to cover it in a couple of minutes just to give you guys an idea of how to structure your conversations. Okay. I believe that every good conversation is composed of 5 elements, and they go in this order, similar to a hike. Impress, inquire, share, align, and agree. And you guys have probably caught that there's no place here where we are talking pitch. There's no pitch. We don't pitch. We share. And we only share when we have an understanding of a problem. Let me ask you guys this. I'm in Utah, so this is relevant to where I live, but how many of you guys have gone on a hike with somebody who did not want to go on that hike ever in your life? Similar to having a conversation with somebody who did not want to have a conversation with you. And I don't know about Shabriz and Michelle, but going on a hike with my child that does not want to go on a hike sounds something like this. Why am I here? I want to stay home. I want to do video games. I hate this place. I hate nature. I hate plants. I hate flowers. I hate the trail. I don't like the waterfalls. It's ugly, right? Because I don't want to do this, right? Because getting somebody to be pushed into something they do not want to do, it's tiring for them and it's tiring for you. That is what a lot of people are doing in conversations with their plumbers, with their agents, with their adjusters, with the homeowners. And here's what I say. I never go on a hike with somebody who does not want to go with me. Here's why. I don't want to be tired for the next time I have to go on another hike with another person who is willing. So first and foremost, impress. What is impress in a peak model? Impress is about breaking the ice and connecting with your prospect on a personal level. There's nothing that will break the ice faster with anybody than a sincere and genuine compliment. Write this down. It has to be sincere, has to be genuine. Nothing will break the ice faster with people than a sincere and genuine compliment. 2 hours of just talking about impress, we'll have it at another point. But as of right now, how many of you are acknowledging people? What is something that you can use to connect with that prospect, whoever the prospect is? The guy that works for you that's not performing well, your spouse that's saying that you're spending too much time on this new business of yours of being a restoration company, right? The homeowner who has just gone through a tragedy, right? The plumber. How are we connecting with people on a personal level, or are we even? Because nowadays, what we see is that people will go out to dinner and everybody's on their own phone and nobody's talking. That's the world we're dealing with. Nobody acknowledges anybody anymore. When was the last time that you saw somebody at a store and you said, wow, those are beautiful shoes. Your baby's so cute, right? Is this a good brand? When was the last time that you genuinely complimented somebody? So that's impress. It's about breaking the ice. And it's also about introducing the subject of the conversation, right? It's when we go ahead and say, oh, the reason why I'm here, I'm Ricelli. I'm with Albie. The reason why I'm here, it's because I wanted to share with you about our CRM solutions and our program to make your life better. I'm Ricelli. I'm with Restoration Company. I'm here to talk to you, Mr. Plumber, about how we can work together when you see water and mold damages on your jobs. I'm Ricelli. I'm here to introduce you, Mr. Agent, to how we can take care of your clients, helping them prevent further damage until an adjuster is assigned to a claim when this is their part of their contract, right? Did we get that on camera? Okay. Well, I'm like, but
yeah, everybody in this webinar is going to start seeing ads. I'm Ricelli. I'm with Albie. Blah, 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 blah.
I'm Ricelli. I'm with Albie. And I believe that we should use the program right. But the idea is, you guys, we break the ice and we introduce the subject, because here's what happens. We say why we are there to do. And when people say, I don't have time right now, we're like, oh yeah, no problem. I just want to tell you everything that I do anyways. And then we pitch. And there's no pitch here, right? Because after I introduce my purpose, that is when I ask questions. And then it's when I'm going to ask the plumber, how often do you see water or mold damages when you go on your calls, on your service calls? What is your process for handling those? Those are the questions. When we talk to, here's some statistics, you guys, you might all know, but for every 100 service calls that plumbers go to, up to 25 might have a mitigation need. They might not fit your criteria for a job, but up to 25 can have a mitigation need. For every 100 units that a property manager manages, up to 14 will have a mitigation need per year. They might handle some in-house, but those are the statistics of what they are dealing with. For every 100 property policy holders that your agent, insurance agent has on their book of business, 5 will file a claim in a year period. But if you don't understand people's processes by inquiring, by asking questions, you might not be prepared to share a solution to their problems. Remember this, we don't share until we get to the top of a conversation. And that's why I use the metaphor of a mountain. It's only when I get to the top that I have a clear view of what's below me. And I only get a clear view of what's below me by asking questions. Do you guys remember the beginning of this conversation today? We broke the ice with music. We had a great time, right? And then Alex asked you guys, what are some of the challenges you're experiencing out there? Why was that important? So that as a facilitator, I would know what to share with you guys. You guys see it top here? Share with you guys about my ideas on how you can solve your problems. Okay? You gain trust, you let their guard down, you introduce the subject, you ask questions. Let me ask you guys this. What are some of the questions that you are asking your prospect to best understand what they are dealing with? Anybody? We have just a couple minutes here and we're going to wrap up with this part. Their pain points, okay? Another way to ask their pain points is to ask people, what are some of the challenges? How do you go about these things? Alex, plumbers, 125, agents, 105, PMs, 114. Yeah, huh? But here's the thing, Alex, 25 out of 100 service calls versus 5 out of 100 property policy holders for a year period, 12-month period. Do you guys see right now why plumbers are so spoiled? For your early comment about only they're so you can come back again. Would you go through this hike on the first convo? Absolutely, but only if they are willing. Only if they're willing, Noah. If they say to me, you know, I don't have time right now, I'm fine. Here's what I say, no problem. I'm the rep for the area. Is it okay if every now and then when I'm in the area, stop by, say hi, and bring you some treats? And by the way, what kind of treats do you like? That's it. Only if they are willing. I don't drag anybody up on a hike with me. Real hike or conversations. You want to know why? Because it's draining. Judge Judy says, don't try to teach a pig to sing. It doesn't work and frustrates the pig. And when you leave a conversation frustrated, remember how we talked about inspiration versus frustration? You leave a conversation frustrated. You frustrated your prospect. Next time they see you, they're already not wanting to talk to you. You yourself are frustrated. The next person you talk to, remember, you can never say the right thing to the wrong person. They are not willing. There's nothing I can say. But if you're frustrated, the next person you see might be the right person, but your energy is so off that what do they see? A worse version of you. If people are not willing, I can't say anything. I get their card. I leave my card because what I do know, and it's important, I hope you guys all know, this is not a one-time thing. Your prospects need to be exposed to you and your message at least 4 times before they even care to engage with you. Try to prove me wrong by me asking you guys this. How many of you met your significant other casually on a blind date that was, met at a bar somewhere, walking down the street, And at the end of those 5 minutes, you guys decided to get married? Oh yeah, nobody, right? Because it decreases your chances. If people are not willing, how or is there anything that you can change their mind? If people are not willing, there's very little you can say. Because if they are not willing, all you need to do is to follow the program and come back. It's on the follow-up. My mentor, Jim Rohn, used to say, fortune in the follow-up. Fortune in the follow-up. I'm coming back. It's a numbers game. Ring to zeros, right? Here's what you guys should remember for everything that you're doing over there. If you are opening a new marketplace, a new market segment, for every 3 accounts that you engage with and put them through your sales funnel, you're going to get 1 lead per year in your first year. I think that we have right now at Albi, right, Alex, the little chart that people can look at. But you guys are going to see that if you want to produce about 100 leads from your business development person per year, that person will have to be managing about 300 accounts. They'll have to be in and out of their car 80 times per week, engaging with people. Because some people are just not willing to hear you on the first visit or the second visit or the third visit. Some of my best accounts, I got them to want to listen to me on the 4th and 5th visit. Because they didn't, at that point of the first visit, they didn't know me. On the second visit, they were not experiencing a problem with a current client, well, or with the current restoration company, or however the case might be. So there's no problem for me to solve. People don't make decisions to change when everything is good. They make decisions to change when things are not going well. And for me to know what's not going well, I need to ask them the question. Here's another example, and then we're going to wrap up. But here's another example. A guy that I train asked an agent. He said, I'm new to this. Do you mind if I ask, what is the biggest problem that you are experiencing right now in 2023 as an agent? And this agent said, retention. He said, what do you mean by that? She said, I need to have 2,000 clients to sell my agency. I didn't know about that. And I make clients and I lose clients. And he said, what do you think is impacting your ability to keep clients? And she said, a lot of them, after they experience a claim, they move. Here's the statistic, you guys, up to 50% of policyholders shop around to change carriers and insurance agents after a claim. And from that guy was able to talk to her about how, by having her talk to her clients and calling him directly, he could help them with a better claims experience through the restoration services. Do you still come back to those that are not willing? Absolutely. And how often? I visit everybody. When I create sales programs for my team, I teach everybody, create your list of about 300 accounts. You're going to be visiting with everybody every 4 weeks. That's how it works. We always go back. We always go back. We always go back. Okay. Then we share the message. Okay, really quick. After we share a message, that's the time for us to align. Sorry that we are going through this a bit fast, but align is about getting feedback from people on the message that you presented. I'm going to practice this with Alex right now. Okay, Alex, an hour and 15 minutes. I've been talking a lot. What are your thoughts?
I think you knocked my socks off, Ricelli.
Tell me more about that.
I think your analogies were absolutely awesome, and been practicing a lot of the things that you've been talking about for a while, but I just couldn't teach them the way you did, especially with the analogy of the dogs and especially this graphic that you're showing up here. So definitely excited to have you back for more.
So you guys see this? What we did right now, what I did was to encourage my audience to give me feedback on what I shared. Because if Alex had said, you know what, this is very confusing, this was all over the place, I would have said, Alex, I'm really sorry. Do you mind if I take some steps back and ask you some better questions? Right? Because here's the thing. We get to align by encouraging feedback. And what Alex just gave me on this phase of aligning to make sure that we're on the same page is to tell me everything I need to know about what our next step should be, which is the clear agreement. Right? If people need more time, you ask them how much time they need. If people need more information, you ask them what kind of information they need. If people, you need to encourage people to align with you by asking them feedback about what you shared. Here is why. Sometimes people say this was great, but guess what they are actually saying? When you ask them, okay, tell me more about that. can you say that again? And what do you find out in a line? They didn't pay attention to what you shared with them about your message. Okay. I can go on and on and on. During our sales training, we covered this in 4 hours. So there's way more to that. My mind moves so fast that I do better with the one-on-one type conversations for clarity and understanding. Yeah, absolutely. Because that's when you can engage with people, right? And you can get to understand the problem, have that back and forth. But here's what I'll tell you guys. The same way that a guy would not propose to somebody without finding out what their thoughts are on marriage, right? It's important that we ask for feedback from our prospects before we get to that clear agreement. All right, you guys. So impress, break the ice, and connect. Inquire, ask questions about the purpose, share, connect the dots with your message, align, encourage feedback, agree, wrap up with something tangible, okay, that you can follow up with. This is it, and this is me. I guess we're going to Q&A right now because we only
I do have something that I want to do real quick before Q&A. Couple minutes.
Should I just stop sharing right now?
Keep that up. That'll be fine.
Okay.
So I think, again, back to like, it's not what's taught, it's what's caught. I think we all just, we took in a shit ton of information, right? And like, we need to like write it down. That's typically what I do. And we need to assign a dollar amount value of how much value do we think we got out of this. And if you don't want to do it in the chat and you want to do it somewhere else separately, I just want you guys to take those principles of what Ricelli taught and what you actually caught, and then think about the 12-month value if you implement that one thing and what it'll bring you, and write that down, because I don't want anybody from this room right now leaving and then getting that emergency service call and not implementing it. So put it in your notes, put it maybe on a piece of paper, put it here in the chat, and then email it to yourself, whatever it is, but put it somewhere where you're going to see it and you're not going to forget it. And then we'll make sure to send you guys the recording too. But just a minute or so, I'll put like a quick minute and a half on the clock, and then we will go to Q&A. Does that sound good, Ricelli? Sorry if I jumped.
Sounds great.
Cool. And then I'm gonna just try to do that. Get some music in here. So what is the one thing of value specifically, and what's the dollar amount? And feel free to share it down in the chat below. The one thing and the value. Cool. We got some good stuff. Noah went to a precise value of 19,230.56. I would challenge you and say it's more. Most of the times I walk out, I do this every time I go to a bunch of mastermind groups. I actually spend a lot of money on coaching. And that's just one of the exercises I do within my notes. I write it down and I put the value. I think everything, like Michelle said, value is priceless when applied. The value is huge. I mean, I could argue that the one thing with the 4 dogs personality, right, test, like that's worth millions towards us, right? Like we're a company that's on their way to IPO, and that's going to influence me for life, right? And, you know, let's say you're in restoration. If I were to do restoration all over again, I was a $2 million a year restoration company owner with the aspiration to get up to 10 to 15 million. I mean, millions of dollars worth of revenue would be directly affected by what Ricelli just laid down. So when we look at these things, just like it's a self-limiting belief that, oh, it's only worth $1 or only worth 19,200 or whatever. That just means you're not going to apply it and you're not going to apply it at scale. But if you take these things and you apply them at scale, like this here was 7-figure value. And if you're a company that has aspiration to get into the 8 figures, I would say even 8 figures. But for even the small guys, right, this here will get you 100% an extra $1 million, $1.5 million worth of revenue over the next time. And that's what excites me about this. I loved it. Thank you so much, Ricelli.
Absolutely. One of my clients, they signed their biggest commercial contract ever after sales training, $7.5 million. That was really
Boom.
exciting. Yeah.
Boom. Okay. So before we open it up for Q&A, we do want to make a special announcement, as I told you at the end of this webinar, but Ricelli is actually going to be teaching a sales boot camp, and we're going to actually bring her into Chicago, and she's going to teach it here. It's a 2-day in-person boot camp where we're going to dive into depth on a lot of the things she presented here. And then afterwards, Ricelli, there's 7, correct me if I'm wrong, 7 different Zoom sessions over the next 7 weeks where you'll go back and apply everything you took out of that boot camp. And then you'll meet with your group for 7 times during that time, just so you can get additional coaching. So I think it's super, super, super exciting. And I thought you meant how much I would pay for attending one of these classes, LOLs. I mean, no, I don't mean that. I mean the value of like how much you get. But if you're interested, comment below that I'm interested, just write interested, and then I'll have Michelle capture all of you and we'll send you. This is the first time it's announced. We're going to run ads and stuff like that. It is limited to 20 people, so we can't really bring in more than 20 people within the class. And there's 32 of you here. So Albi customers get a 50% discount. So a lot of you, I see familiar names that are your Albi customers. So you'll actually get a 50% discount on the actual class. And then if you're not an Albi customer, but still considering, you could talk to the sales team. They might be able to get you over that code. But yeah, let's, it'll be, what were the dates? July 12th and 13th, right, Ricelli?
July 12th and 13th. Yeah, in Chicago.
Cool. Yeah, it'll be here in Chicago, and I'll be there personally to welcome all of you. We'll get some sort of dinner plans and lunch plans so we can all bond and network and things like those. And I'm hoping our new lease will be with internet, and it'll be in Albi's new homes. We're actually in the process of moving, so I'm super excited on our next facility. So yeah, July 12th and 13th. I see everybody interested. We'll get you more info and the sign up link as soon as possible. So let's open it up for Q&A. Raise your hand here, and then we'll throw you in. I'm gonna lower all hands because I don't know if there's an accidental hand. Adam, I saw yours. Raise your hand if you want to ask a question, and let's open it up for Q&A. Or you could put the question down in the chat if you'd like. Man, you killed it, Ricelli. Good work. Let's see, Shabrice. Let's allow Shabrice to talk. You're in. You just got to unmute yourself. And if you don't mind turning on your camera so we can see your pretty face, that would be awesome.
I don't know if it turned on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Yes.
can hear you. I can't see you. Now you're muted
I
again. Oh, there
don't
you
know how to put the camera on.
go. Okay,
So,
no worries.
with what Alex said earlier, I actually would really love to get a coffee with you, Ricelli, if you have time. Just
Ooh.
in the same state.
Yeah, I'll be in Chicago the 12th and the 13th of July. We can connect over there. No, absolutely. Just send me a message. Let's see what we can coordinate.
Okay, perfect.
But what are some of your questions, Shabrice?
I have more questions about the 4 different dog personalities. I would love to learn more about the 4 different personalities. Because I'm pretty sure I'm kind of a Labrador Doberman-ish, but definitely having to front that German Shepherd, and it is exhausting.
Isn't that fascinating? Well, this is a program, right? And it's part of the sales bootcamp program that we're going to be doing, Sales Masters, which is 2 months. So the way it works, we cover personalities over a 4-hour period because there's a lot more detail for that, right? And then it's part of our follow-up program. That's why this program is 2 months long for the sales training that Alex was sharing with you guys. we did a synopsis here because it is simple, but there's more to it, so that you can leave feeling equipped with the tools that you needed to utilize this in a more structured manner and feeling like you're really grounded in the concept. So yeah, it takes about 4 hours for us to go through that concept.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna try to work things out so I can be out in Chicago.
That'll be awesome. Love to meet you if we don't meet before.
Yeah.
Other questions, you guys? Thank you so much. Other questions, you guys?
Thanks, Shabrice. All right, Ray has a question. Oh, he just took his hand down. I'll throw him in though. Ray, you're in. You just got to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
It's
up, Ray?
Ricelli, right? Ricelli?
it's Ricelli, but
So-
pretty close.
Okay, are you from Sicily?
No, I wish. I'm from Brazil.
So I wouldn't do business with you if you were from Sicily. What do you think about job match assessment software? When you bring new salespeople on, you run through a job assessment program, kind of lines them up with, is sales a good fit for them?
I've heard about some of those programs. I don't know about, this particular one that you're mentioning. Here's what I usually tell my clients. When we are hiring, a lot of times we're hiring on skill set. But one of the things that I mention to my clients is that it's very important that we hire on, will the day-to-day of this position fuel the candidate, right? That is very important. I've seen different personality types do very well in different positions, right? The Labrador, for example, that's an estimator, which will usually be considered a German Shepherd role, right? Or a German Shepherd Saint Bernard who was great in business development. What we need to find out is if the day-to-day will fuel that person. And that's why it's important to have scorecards, because you can you manage the system and coach the person within that system.
And you get together in Chicago, those first 2 days is going to be about what?
You guys are going to be receiving the information on the whole sales training program. This is my sales master's program. It's a 2-day long followed by 7 weeks. So a 2-month long sales training program to help owners with working with their team, understanding what their sales funnel should look like. You guys are going to get all the details on what the whole program will look like, including how to recruit for the positions.
Have you ever worked small markets? Like, for example, our community endured Hurricane Laura, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And it has, Lake Charles has about 80,000 people, and in a 20-mile radius, about 300,000 people. There's a whole lot more residential type work than there is commercial. What's your thoughts about that?
I will need more minutes just to answer that, because I need to ask you more questions to best understand where you're going with that. So I would say, if you'd like, connect with me and maybe we can jump on a quick call, 15 minutes or so, and I can best understand where you're coming from and give my suggestions.
I'll send you an email.
All right, awesome.
Any other questions, guys? Raise your hand. Ray, thanks so much. And
You're
Ray,
welcome.
to add on by your thing, I met a $16 million a year restoration company in a town of 700,000 people. And that was in Rapid City, South Dakota. So I don't know. I feel like a lot of times we're worried about market size, and I think they're more self-limiting beliefs than anything. I'm here trying to build a multi-billion-dollar software company in a 30,000 restoration company space, right? So I think oftentimes we want to there's that birdie that sits on our shoulder that says, hey, it's too small. Is it too small? Is it not? But in reality, I don't know. I think a lot of markets are underserved. So.
Well, and just to throw statistics over there, remember I mentioned that for property managers, 14% of their units will have a loss. We usually look at a market share from the perspective of the insurance companies, that 5.5% of the households will have, will have a filed claim, but we are disregarding the ones that are not being filed, right, as a claim because of how they get addressed internally. So considering that, they're multiplying, 14% of all the households in your market share, and then multiplying that by your average job size can give a very good indicator of what the potential of the marketplace is.
Yeah, and for all of you, Ricelli and I have a couple calculators that will be going out. One of them will be to calculate like your cost efficiency and your sales efficiency of your reps. The second one I have made is a market size calculator where we take the nationwide statistics of insurance claims and then divide it by population centers. And you basically plug in your population, it tells you how big your market is, and then you plug in your revenue and it tells you what market share you have. So we have that. And then Ray, yeah, we can hop on a call. I'll drop my email here actually. And then Abby, my assistant, will probably pick it up and schedule some time. Great. Any other questions, anyone? This was awesome. Ricelli, I think you broke the record for one of the most engaged webinars we've ever had.
I'll love to continue with this discussion, you guys, and you can connect with me through social media. But what you caught, that stuck with me. That was my biggest takeaway today. It's not what's being taught, it's what's being caught, and focusing on the message for people, right? How they are receiving our message.
Awesome.
All
Okay,
right,
guys.
so if
See you
no
guys
other
at the next
questions,
one.
yeah,
Does
all
not
right.
look like there's any.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Take care, everyone.